Hi, I am Alicia Toot from Music Blog Yeah, and I'm here with Lissie. Thank you for speaking with us today.
You're welcome. Thank you for wanting to talk to me. I appreciate it.
It's our pleasure. So before we get to the actual questions, I just want to say happy birthday.
Thank you. Thanks so much. It's been a good day so far.
Oh, I'm glad to hear it. Do you have any plans before you hit the stage in Toronto tonight to celebrate?
I'm not really. I don't. I maybe something will happen that I'm not aware of, but I really don't think so. I think I'm just gonna eat a hamburger, and I always have a little bit of tequila before I go on stage. So that's basically the plan.
Sounds pretty good. So you're currently on your North American tour. So what are you most looking forward to?
Well, it's really nice to be back in the States. I mean, we love touring in general, and we have a great time when we're in Europe. But after we've been over there, we just got back Friday from we were in Stockholm, and so after having been in Europe for like over a month, it was just so nice to be back, in North America where things feel more familiar, and then we'll go back to the States tomorrow. It's just good to feel. It's like, okay, I know how everything works, and I know what I like to eat, and my phone bill doesn't cost $1 million, so I'm just excited really to be back on like home turf, but also, this tour will be nice because it's not super long, and it gets broken up by Thanksgiving, so I'll get to see my family for Thanksgiving and my dog, and it all ends in California where we live, so it just feels like I'm going to see a lot of friends and family along the way, and that's always really nice, because the road can get a little crazy.
And then while you're on tour, what would you say are some of the quintessential things that you need to have with you?
Well, probably like emergency or airborne, some kind of or wellness formula, some kind of immune support, because it really is, you're going through different climates and germs and things, so staying healthy, lots of water. I think moisturizer is important, at least for me. I went to Norway recently, and it was so cold and dry that my skin just fell off my face, and I was constantly just rubbing lotion on myself. But a good moisturizer is always important. I have a stuffed monkey that I sleep with, that I have slept with since I was 2, so that always comes on the road. Pack light, I don't know. I guess those aren't very exciting. Tequila. You need tequila.
Okay. And one thing that we caught was earlier this week, you were on Conan. So what was that experience like?
It was awesome. I mean, we've done the Fallon and Leno, but Conan's always been my favorite since I was young. So it was really cool. I mean, it happens quick. You go and you sit around all day, because you have to sound check, and his crew and staff were really nice. It was a very cool group of people, and they had these massage chairs and lots of food and whatever you need, so really good vibes. But then you just go and you do the song, and then it's done, so it's sort of funny. But Conan was really nice and funny, of course, as he is, and it was just, I felt like a big accomplishment. I'd always wanted to say I've been on the Conan show, and now I have, so I did it.
Congratulations for the feature.
Thank you. Thanks.
So I just have one last touring question for you. What's the funniest thing to happen to Lissie while at a gig?
At a gig, at a specific gig, I'm not sure, but was a really wacky weekend this last summer. I'll try to do long story short, where I needed to get to Norway for these 4 festivals we were doing, or 3 festivals over just a weekend, and my plane from Chicago to wherever I was going to get to Europe was canceled. And it was sort of a situation where I'd be landing and then immediately be driven to this festival. So I kept switching flights, trying to get to, should I let the siren pass? No, we're good.
I think it's all right.
Okay. So I was switching flights, trying to I gotta get there, because I was second to the headliner at this festival. And so I got as far as Stavanger, Norway, where I wasn't initially meant to go. And I was then supposed to fly to another place, but all the flights were then canceled again, and I was just you have to be kidding me, and my promoter and everyone's just freaking out. So I get a phone call that's we're sending a helicopter for you. So a helicopter comes and picks me up, flies me an hour over mountains and fjords in Norway, which is beautiful, but it had a glass floor, and I'm with this 20-year-old pilot, and it's all in a helicopter, flying over mountains, and land at the site, and run. So and I'd been wearing sweatpants. I didn't have any clothes, which I was dumb not to bring. I just had everything in my check bag, so I borrowed my guitar player's jeans, He had an extra pair, so I'm wearing like his jeans on stage. I'm like barefoot. So there was that, and then I was like so stressed out because my bags didn't show up. So then after the show, we only got to do 5 songs. So after the show that night, we're all like hanging out on the bus, and I'm having some drinks and unwinding. Like, okay, it's gonna be all right. And I go to open my laptop, MacBook Air, and I had someone else's MacBook. And in security, I must have taken someone else's computer, and it was password protected. So then, like, somehow we were able to figure out whose computer it was. Well, he lived in Lebanon. And so we found out how to contact him, and he was really nice, and he had my laptop. So then we went in London, we swapped our laptops back. So it was the craziest weekend. I mean, hopefully it says it was wild. Like, it was so stressful, but such a good story now. It was like, took a helicopter, like, you know, had to wear my guitar player's jeans. Like, my luggage didn't show up for like weeks. And finally came back to California, like, lost my laptop, like, ended up like cutting my knee really bad because I drank so much wine that I tried to go swimming and ended up like slicing my leg open on coral. And some random Norwegian guy, and this is like at 5 a.m. because we were all jet lagged, was wearing a British Revolutionary War costume, soldier's outfit from like the Revolutionary times. He just happens upon us as we're all trying to go swimming at 5 a.m. We look over and he has a sword and everything. It was so weird. But he was really nice, and so then, of course, I end up, like, in the jacket and the hat with the sword, and, you know, like, it was just the weirdest weekend. That's the craziest thing I can think of. Usually things are quite mellow, and, you know, we drink a little tequila, but then we go to bed, and nothing crazy happens, really. But that weekend was, like, so stressful and so bizarre.
Sounds like an adventure out of a movie, for sure.
Yeah, like everything about it was weird. It was like surreal. It was like, is this really happening? Like, why is now there a revolutionary soldier standing over there? Like, it's 4 a.m. We're like standing at a fjord. Like, what is going on? So that's my best story. Hopefully that you guys enjoy it.
So the last time we spoke was actually back in August, which was a couple months before the release of your record Back to Forever. So how's it been received so far?
I think, you know, at least the feedback I see, because I don't Google alert myself or anything. So, like, the feedback on Twitter and certain reviews that I have seen is really positive. You know, I think it's just, like, another, like, a nice step in the progression of my career. I'm already sort of, like, ready to make another album. So it's been good, and, you know, it's led to lots of cool opportunities, some cool TV spots, both here and overseas, and lots of interviews, and, excuse me. And, you know, just it's led to a lot of cool stuff. So I think it's been overwhelmingly positive. But again, you know, it's funny because it's sort of like you put out an album. It's like this end-all, be-all, like, statement. And I'm already like, okay, I'm writing, like, I want to make a new album as soon as possible, or, like, put out a live album, or, you know, you kind of can't sit still. You know, you want to keep charging ahead.
Well, one thing that I wanted to ask about is the significance behind the name. What exactly for you, or what is Forever?
Well, so the song Back to Forever on the album is about, like, you know, kind of aching for that time, for the past, not only just out of nostalgia and sentimentality of, like, you know, when your family was all young and healthy and, like, we lived in our old house, like, with our old dog, and I was sheltered, didn't really understand, like, some of the problems of the world that then I would come to understand as an adult, you know, just that, like, joy of childhood for me. You know, summers by the pool, riding my bike, and so it's that, like, I wrote it actually when I was sitting in my grandparents' closet looking at an old photo album, and it made me cry, like, just couldn't believe, like, how did that go so fast? Like, how am I here now? And once you do hit 30, there is this awareness of, like, you know, when you're little, like, you have forever. Like, you can do anything. But then suddenly you're like, oh, I don't have forever anymore. Time's ticking. Like, where did the last 10 years go? And so it was that, like, nostalgia and also, like, awareness of, like, okay, you don't have forever anymore, and take me back to forever. So that was just that song. And then, you know, as I compiled all the songs together and was, like, thinking about an album title, I thought Back to Forever was nice because it is, you know, a lot of these songs are about mistakes I've made or conflict or how I've maybe become self-aware in certain ways to recognize my patterns. And so it's almost like the past now is behind me, but moving forward, you know, I have to sort of learn from everything I've done. But there is this feeling in me of, like, wanting to go back to when I did have forever, and the notion of like, well, what does forever mean in a relationship, or just how things have changed in my lifetime. So I don't know, it's a little bit all over the place.
That's beautiful. It's nostalgic,
Yeah.
definitely.
It's nostalgic, and it's just, I guess, maybe this sudden awareness of like my life like is here now. Like, what are you gonna do now? Like, you don't have forever. And like songs like I Don't Want to Go to Work on the album, I think tied in nice to that title, because it's a lot of people who maybe get into jobs they didn't really think they'd stay in for so long, and then they realize like 40, 50 years, like, I'm still doing this. This isn't what I wanted to do. And it's a bit depressing, but not trying to be depressing, that like you're when you have forever, it seems like it'll never end. But the truth is like you have to make the hard decisions now, because you could open your eyes one day and be like, how did I get here? Where did time go? So I'm sort of trying to preempt that. If that makes sense.
Yeah, definitely. All right, well, thanks for sharing the story behind
I'm
it.
so long-winded. I cannot like say anything in a short sentence. It's like, but bleh.
No, the more the better in interviews. I always say that. So we were just curious, aside from music, what else do you do for fun?
I've been reading a lot. I like to read a lot. I really like TV shows. I'm hooked on all these different shows. Spending time with my family, my friends. When I'm home in California, hiking. I have like a road bike that I was getting really into, but now I've been on tour, so I've been neglecting it. But hiking and biking. I live in a gorgeous place, California. There's lots of nature stuff to do. I like to drink wine. When I'm home, I kind of like to balance like the laziness with the nature and like being outdoors as much as possible. So sitting on my porch is like a way to be outside and be lazy. So but what else do I do for fun? I don't know. I don't remember. I'm sure I do something fun. I'm just spending time with friends and trying to be spontaneous and open to like things that are cool that are going on. Yeah.
Now, one thing that we saw is you recently covered a track of Drake's, a fellow Canadian. So can we expect any covers in the near future?
Yeah, that's the newest one, because we were in Norway again. I go to Norway a lot. And they wanted us to do a cover, and we were sort of like, we don't, something contemporary, because a lot of our stuff is like random and all over the place. And so I really liked that song, Just Hold On, We're Going Home. So we really did our own take on that. It's quite different from the original. And it was cool. We'll probably do it tonight. So, I have some ideas for new covers, but I can't tell you because, it's a secret.
Understandable.
It's only exciting when people are, like, not expecting it. They're like, what? What are you doing? They'd expect me to cover something in my genre, but I never do. I always try to go for something a little different.
Very cool. So now we're at the very last question of the interview, actually. I know, it's gone to this point. So what's next for Lissie?
Well, there's a great George Carlin quote that I recently heard that I keep quoting. It's always do what's next. That's something that, it's simple as it sounds. It's helpful for me to remember, because I'm a bit of a worrier and like a pre-planner. All that's next, as far as I know, is tour. Keep writing. Hopefully put out another new album as soon as possible, like once sort of this touring dies down, maybe after the summer. And just keep writing, keep putting out music, and hopefully getting good opportunities, doing cool interviews, spreading the word. I'd love to be on Saturday Night Live. I'd love to win a Grammy. I'd love to sing the national anthem at the Super Bowl. There's all kinds of things that I'd like to get to, but in the short term, it's like, staying healthy, taking care of my voice, giving it my all at my concerts, and taking time to write, and just sort of getting to that point then where I can make another album and just kind of be prolific and keep the ball rolling. So that's the plan, I guess.
Oh, exciting. Well, we hope that we see all of that in the near future for you, definitely.
Yes, and thank you very much for this opportunity, and so nice talking to you.
Thank you. It was our pleasure. Well, once again, I'm Alicia Toot from Music Blog Yeah, and this was an interview with Lissie. Thank you.
Thank you.